Welcome to Psyverge. When you stop being available, everything changes. The shift is subtle at first, like the slow pull of tides under a full moon. But make no mistake, it changes everything. Carl Jung, the father of analytical psychology, understood something that most of us still resist today. The human soul, when neglected, does not quietly fade. It rebels. You see, we spend our lives trying to be everything for everyone. We show up, we answer, we give. We stay available. In texts, in conversations, in roles we never chose but learned to carry. We become dependable at our own expense, all because we're afraid. Afraid of what happens if we say no. Afraid of being alone. Afraid of not being needed. But what Jung observed in his decades of work is that the psyche cannot thrive in a state of constant compromise. He believed that the self, the true, whole center of our being, demands individuation. That is, it demands the process of becoming who you really are, separate from the masks, the roles, and the attachments that dilute your essence. So when you stop being available, what really happens? At first the world resists. The people who benefited from your constant presence, they notice. They call it selfishness. They call it arrogance. But Jung would say, this is the shadow speaking, not your shadow, theirs. The part of them that has relied on your subservience now feels threatened. Why? Because you've disrupted the balance of control. And this is the first lesson. Availability is not kindness when it comes from fear. It's just disguised compliance. Jung argued that the unconscious speaks through symptoms, patterns, and dreams. And one of the most dangerous patterns is compulsive availability. It's a sign of repression, a need to please, born from a childhood where love was conditional, where silence was punished, and presence was the only currency for approval. But there's a turning point in the journey of individuation, a moment where the self demands you reclaim your boundaries. And when you finally obey that call, everything changes. Not just how people treat you, but who even remains in your life. People fall away. Some ghost you. Others lash out. And that's because they were only connected to the version of you that was always available, always agreeable, always too exhausted to resist. But what they didn't see, and what perhaps you didn't see, is the rage growing beneath your surface. The part of you Jung called the shadow, that hidden self you've denied. The part filled with unacceptable truths, forbidden anger, inconvenient desires. The part that no one wanted, so you buried it. When you stop being available, the shadow emerges, and not as a monster, but as an advocate, a liberator. It says, no more. No more people-pleasing. No more overextending. No more dissolving yourself just to make others whole. And now, here's the paradox. When you begin to honor this darkness, your light intensifies. Jung believed that true wholeness required the integration of opposites. To become who we are, we must face what we are not. We must accept the ugly with the beautiful, the selfish with the selfless, the solitude with the companionship. And in doing so, we stop performing and start being. This is where things really begin to shift. Your energy changes, not in a mystical sense, but psychologically. You walk differently. You speak with more weight. You no longer entertain nonsense, and people can feel it. Some will test your new boundaries. Others will respect them. But the most fascinating transformation is internal. You begin to reclaim your time, your mind, yourself. You begin to realize that solitude was never a punishment. It was a portal, a return to the origin of who you were before the world told you who to be. Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." But that privilege comes with a cost. You must stop being available to everyone. Because the truth is, not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone is ready to meet the version of you that is no longer convenient. There's a certain silence that comes after this withdrawal. It's unsettling. You may even question if you made the right choice. But that silence is sacred. It's not emptiness. It's space. And space is where the self begins to speak again. You'll hear thoughts you forgot you had. You'll remember dreams you abandoned. You'll rediscover instincts that were drowned out by the noise of obligation. This is the real you. Unfiltered, undistracted, and finally, unavailable to the world's demands. In that sacred space, something else happens. You begin to attract differently. Not because you're playing some psychological game, but because you've raised your standards to match your soul. The friendships you form are deeper. The connections are richer. People now meet you where you are, not where you used to shrink. This is what Jung meant by the self being a guiding principle. When you follow it, when you realign your life around it, everything not meant for you falls away. And yes, it's painful. Loss always is. But it's the kind of pain that heals, the kind that makes room for truth. When you stop being available, you learn what was real and what was performative. You learn which relationships were built on love and which were built on dependency. You learn that respect begins the moment you stop negotiating your worth. The world will tell you that being unavailable is cold, that it's distant, that it's antisocial. But here's the truth that Jung understood. In a world obsessed with masks, authenticity is often misdiagnosed as rebellion. And maybe it is rebellion, but it's a rebellion of the soul, a revolt against the prison of expectations, a revolution of inner truth. So if you feel the call to pull back, to go inward, to protect your time, your energy, your mind, listen. Don't fight it. Don't apologize for it. The self is trying to bring you home. And when you return, when you re-emerge from that solitude, you won't be the same. You'll be whole, not perfect, not always at peace, but true. And that truth will be unshakable. The world might not clap for this transformation. In fact, it might punish you for it. But Jung didn't believe in pleasing the world. He believed in transcending it, in finding meaning beyond social roles and expectations. So when you stop being available, don't think of it as rejection. Think of it as realignment. The path of individuation is not easy, but it's the only path that leads to depth, to freedom, to authenticity. And that, more than anything, is what this world desperately needs. Not more availability, but more truth. So ask yourself, who are you when you stop performing? Who remains when you stop pleasing? What is born when you stop being available? Maybe the answer is you.